Well, hey friends, it is Amanda with Metal Modern Design and Deep South Shelling and Creative Business Challenge coming to you live kind of for an impromptu afternoon crafting session. I had this idea and I don't know for the life of me if I saw it somewhere or if I dreamed it or what it was exactly that prompted me to do this. But I had this great idea today and I wanted to hop on right away and share it with you guys. And so you guys know, hey, Roberta, thanks for being here. So you guys know I do a lot with stenciling. I don't just do stenciling, but it seems like I hop on and share a lot of stenciling ideas. And I like to use my stencils in alternate ways. And so that's exactly what we're gonna do today. And so we're gonna create a cute little tag and a cute little shelf sitter, and we're gonna use some corrugated metal to embellish our decor items. And so let me show you, without further ado, what we're gonna be working on. Now, you guys, do I have my tag right here? I do. If you don't mind doing this, this helps us reach more people, and I appreciate you very much when you help. And say hello, let me know that you're here, and we're gonna hop into it. Okay. So I've used a couple of stencils in the background, and I'm gonna show you them, and then I'm gonna, ooh, I somehow got some tape. Okay, let me angle you down. Hey from California. Okay, so I used this stencil, which obviously I've used in the past, and it is different with my blinds open. I just realized it's so dark out though right now because we've got some storms down here on the coast. So I got my little fish stencil here, and I've got my little rooster stencil. Now you could use any kind of stencils. You could use letters, you could do whatever. But I traced these onto a pan, just like this. Little metal pan. These come in 2 packs. See that level of detail? They come in 2 packs from Dollar Tree. And I used my stencils and I cut out these super cool embellishments. So I'll show you what we're gonna do with them. Let's see if I should. I will do the staining in a bit. And I've got some rusty washers here. I've got all kinds of things that we might be using. But first, we're just gonna take our pan. This is the one I've been cutting on. Let me angle you down just a bit more. Hey from Ontario, Canada. Okay, and so I've used this one, and I've used the fish. I think, and you can use any number of the stencils or anything that you've got. If you're crafty and you can freehand things, then by all means, freehand some things. But let me just show you how I have done this. So I took my stencil, and you can do this with things with varying levels of, let me pull it over here so you can see me a little better. With varying levels of difficulty. I'm just going to do one that's kind of simple just to get the concept out there. So I'm just going to take a Sharpie, and right here on the inside of this pan, I am just going to do my best to trace this stencil, okay? You could do this with a star or a heart or your fish or a crab or anything. Your letters, you could spell out farm, you could spell out, these are all jagged. You could spell out all kinds of things with your letters, or you could do some shapes. And so all I've done, I've taken that stencil and I have just traced it. Can you see that? Right on to this pan. Now I'm going to use a combination of scissors and my cutting tool. And so just to make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to cut out this piece of aluminum metal, and it's got a nice detail on it. I'm just going to set the rest of it aside. I'm just going to cut it down a bit to make it easier to work with. And then what I can cut with these scissors, I'm going to go ahead and cut with the scissors because I'm finding that there's a bit more control with the scissors than with my cutting tool, and it might just be that my cutting tool blade needs a change. But I'm going to cut as much as I can with the scissors, and I'm just going to bend kind of the metal out of the way as I go. And there are some intricate little cuts, especially on the rooster that I did. And so you'll snip and you'll pull the pieces parts away. You might have to come in from some different angles to get the things, but you want to make sure you're not cutting off any parts. So it's just, you know, remember when you were a kid and you did the fun tracing projects, it's kind of like that. And then you're just going to follow along your line and cut out what you traced. And this will become the back of our piece. I'm going to skip that little part. I'm going to make a commitment cut and cut around a little bit more. And then we're just going to continue to cut here. And cut out the mouth here. These scissors might be a bit long. I'm gonna leave that detail for my detail knife. I'm gonna come up here and cut. Just gonna kind of round where there's some detailing there and leave that and go back with my detail knife. And I'm just cutting pieces away as I go. And you can come in from different directions. It will bend a little bit on you, so you just bend it back and you work with it carefully. This can cut you, so you just want to be cautious a little bit as you're doing this. Okay, so I've gotten it down. There's a little bit of an area here, and I'm just going to take my detail knife here and just going to make a couple of cuts. Cut that away. Kind of want to take that line back just a bit, so I'm just going to clean it up with my detail knife. This is why it's good to have a self-healing mat. Mine looks like a hot mess because it's got paint all over it, but really there's more of a purpose for it than just blocking my paints and stains. It's really good for cutting, gluing, those kind of things. And so I'm just gonna cut out the detailing here. And it leaves this little fin. And we gotta cut out around the mouth. And let's see if we can pull that out. We're just cutting right around where we traced. And so whatever stencil you guys have, this is the other side. And so this right here, let me show you. See that little fine detail down there at the top of this? And so for that, what I did is, I'm working on my traced side here. I just started making some jagged cuts and jagged edges a little bit, just by coming in and kind of playing with this a little bit and just cutting out some nicks and making it a little less round and perfect. And so now do you see kind of the nicks and cuts? Let's see. Cut some pieces away, just pull some pieces away. Okay. And so there's our fish. Now I already cut out a fish and I already cut out a rooster, so let me show you. And again, this can be a little bit sharp, so as you're cleaning it up, just be careful. When I was cleaning it up after my first little go round to make sure that this was a go for a project, I did actually get a little piece of metal like sticking out of my finger like a splinter. Isn't that crazy? Hopefully I can reach the trash can. Ooh, it missed. It missed the trash can. I'm gonna have all those little pieces to pick up. Okay, so I've got this little fish and this little fish now. So now we got two of them. And you can see like where I traced on this side. So we're just gonna use the opposite side. And then I've got the piece that I did with the rooster. And so here's what the rooster looks like, the little weather vane cut out. And so I did just the same thing. I just used the little Dollar Tree metal pan and I traced it onto there, and we ended up with this cute piece. Look at all that detail. And so it's gonna look like corrugated metal. And so friends, these are in 2-packs at Dollar Tree. And that's what I've used. And so let's grab, this is an essential stencil tag, and then this is just a Dollar Tree wood shape. I think it's Dollar Tree. Greenbrier, I got it somewhere. I think this was Dollar Tree, one of their arrows. And you guys know that sometimes I like to use their arrows like houses. And that's what we're gonna do with this one. So I pulled off that tag, and then I would pull out these staples, but I don't think I've got my little tiny staple remover thing. So for now, I'm just gonna cut off the jute, and I'll go back and clean that up a little bit later. Okay, and so let me grab some gloves. I'm gonna stain these up real quick. Put on a pair of gloves. Do you guys like the corrugated metal so far? Look, I went into a Dollar Tree that's different than the one I typically go into, and it looked like a war zone. It didn't have anything. And so I know that they vary based on location very greatly. So hopefully you can find some of these things. But you can get these little metal pans probably at Walmart or Dollar General or any number of places. And so I'm just going to use the Valspar Antiquing Glaze because it's right here on my desk, and I'm trying to finish up this jar so I have one last thing to store. And I'm just going to use my little stain sponge here. Okay. I'll stain up this is a tag from Essential Stencil. Really nice quality tags. And so you guys tell me if you've got a stencil set you think would work really well for making a corrugated piece. I'm curious what part you think you would use for a corrugated piece. I think it would look great as a star, as a heart, maybe as some beach themes, some different beach themes. I've of course used the weather vane and the fish, but what do you have that you think you would use? I'm gonna get a little bit of the stain into that hole. So just getting this color down. Now this would be a cute shelf sitter. Something you could put on a tiered tray if you've got a bigger tiered tray, or something you could just use on your counter in your kitchen, on a coffee bar maybe. And again, it's an arrow from the Dollar Tree that I'm gonna envision as a house. And I'm gonna go back and pull out these little tufts later, unless my scissors will work. Let me see. Oh, these scissors have a little thing. Maybe these will work. Let me see if I can make these work. No, I think it's going to take some finagling. I'm going to have to stab myself. I'm going to have to wait and use the right tool before I end up bleeding. I think I am bleeding. Okay, so I'll remove those later. I'll stick with the original plan. And also do as I say and not as I do. Never do that with scissors, because I could have really significantly injured myself right there. So don't do that. Okay. And so we've got some stained surfaces now. So here's our little house. Here's our little tag. Just stained up using the Valspar Antiquing Glaze. Let me take a look at my finger. Ooh, she's not bleeding, thank goodness. Okay. Put this glove back on for a couple minutes. We're gonna dry these up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, thank you for sprinkling, Cheryl. You finally got some Valspar Antiquing Glaze and love it. I love it too. I love the color. Okay, and so we could glue these right down on these and it would be a really nice look. Just right here, just using just the stain and the embellishment. But you know, I like to be a little extra sometimes, so we're going to be a little extra. And so let me just take these off. And we're gonna grab some white paint. I'm almost at the end of this tube. Actually, I'm almost, no, that one's got a little more. Okay. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this white paint with a chip brush, and we're gonna weather these out a little bit. Just because I like that weathered, beachy kind of rustic look, and so I'm just gonna dry brush on some white. Kind of heavier and darker in areas. I'll take it over the sides here. But I'm not really, will I do the back? I guess I will while I'm here. I'll just lean it over and do the back real quick. Okay, and so we've got just a cute little weathered background here. We'll do the same on our tag. And that's the difference. We've got one with and one without, but we're gonna do both with. Just a light. Maybe I'll make it heavier right in the center. Okay, I'm gonna come and do it on the back here. Just dry brushing a little white acrylic paint. We'll just do the sides here. You guys can pick up these tags from Essential Stencil. They're really great quality. They come as a 3-pack. I don't have my code posted right now, but I'll post my code. If you go to essentialstencil.com or you use the app, you can use my code METTLE, M-E-T-T-L-E, to save yourself 10%. And so we've just got some light whitewashing. So let's dry those up just a little bit. What do you guys think so far? Show me some hearts if you like them so far. Okay. And so we could come back, we could stencil words on these signs, we could do any number of things. I'm gonna angle you down just a touch more. We could do any number of things on these signs, but I just like simple things sometimes. And so I'm gonna make sure that you can see my red trace lines on this side. And so that's definitely gonna be the side that gets glued. Now, let me do this one first, and then we'll do the tag, because it's gonna have a little bit, excuse me, more detail. There it is. My E6000 with all of its many issues. Friends, it's always something. I break my teeth trying to get this lid off. I don't think it's gonna come out this way anyway. We're gonna try it. Oh, it did, yay. Okay, that's a happy day when your E6000 works like it's supposed to, because that's rare. And you'll just want to be cautious. Like if you're doing something with some detail, just be cautious when you're cutting it out. If you do cut off an important part, then just glue it back together. Unless it's significant, then you know it's only $1 on your substrate there, so hopefully that won't be too bad. Okay, so we've coated it with some E6000, and we're just going to put it down on our piece. We're just gonna tap it down. Now, if you wanted to stencil some words on there, you could. I just like the simplicity of this. Now we might do a little something extra, and I'll show you what in just a minute after this has just a little touch to dry. And you can see, I got in with this with the detail tool and just really cut around that rooster. What do you think? Isn't that super cute? Okay, let me make sure he's straight. He's a little crooked, there we go. Straighten him up while he's still wet. Better to straighten him while he's wet than once he's dry. Okay. And it's like perfectly imperfect. And I just cut myself on some jagged metal. It's one of those days, one of those crafting days. Okay, and so we're gonna set him aside to dry. I'll add a little heat just real quick to Try to speed it up. Let's see. I see my daughter texting me from school on my secondary device. Respond to her so she knows I'm here listening. Okay, so we've got this down. Now let's switch over and come to our fish. Now, I've got a couple of different little fish here I can choose from. Same concept, used the stencil, cut them out. But I think I want this to be a little, aged a little. And so before I put him down, I'm gonna put him on here and I'm gonna use some chalk paint because I like the way chalk paint sticks to metal a little better than the acrylic. And so maybe I wanna add a little touch of this. Which color is this? Let me see what color this one is. He's not quite the right color. He's a little too blue. I want it to look a little more like oxidation. So this teal's a bit bright. But if I take a little bit of this teal, just gonna put a little of this teal, and this is just the Waverly chalk paint in Peacock. This color's Peacock. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the celery chalk paint. I don't want to contaminate my bottle here, so what am I going to do? I'm going to grab a different brush. I'm just going to pull it out. Ooh, that needs to be stirred. Okay. Because that was not the right color at all. Okay. I'm just going to mix the peacock and the celery. I'll probably just mix them with the little brush that I'm gonna use. So we've got some peacock and some celery, creating this different kind of teal color. And I'm just gonna come on and just add just a touch of color. Just kind of dry brushing this, this metal with just a bit of color, just a little bit of teal. Bit out of the center. You can use your finger to kind of move it around and make it darker or lighter. Be careful because your metal will be a little bit rough. Okay, and so this is kind of what we're looking with now. He's working with, we've got just a little touch of color. But when you've got some oxidizing things that look like patina, it's not just the turquoises. A lot of times you'll have a little touch of brown or a little touch of orange. So let me grab just a little bit. Oh, that's got a little touch of this orange. But I'm gonna deepen it with some brown. Now, I don't have a good brown chalk paint, but this is water. And so also my antiquing glaze is water. So I'm just gonna grab a little touch of my Valspar antiquing glaze. It's in this brown color right here. And I'm just gonna mix it with that orange, and it's gonna create kind of a brownish orange color. Just gonna add it in a little bit, kind of near my blue. Just kind of haphazardly, just kind of antiquing it, aging it. I'm just gonna add some straight brown, just kind of antiquing it out a bit, making it look not so new. Kind of working the color with my finger a little bit. And so now this is what he looks like. We could also just take, I don't like the way that looks right there, so I'm just gonna work that in just a little. Oh yeah, that looks much more realistic. A little blending is all it needed. Okay, and so we took this bright silver and we made him look like this. Do you see the differences there? Okay, So then I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to keep them on this plate so I remember to wash them. So this will be a little bit fancy. It'll be just a little fancier than the other one. Mash the other one down. Okay, and then we're going to grab our E6000. If we wanted to put the word fish on here, we could. If we wanted to put gone fishing, like whatever we wanted to put on here, we could. I'm just going to do a fish because sometimes I just like simple designs, and I'm just going to get this E6000 on here. It's coming up. Sorry, friends. There was a call that came in, but I canceled it quick, so hopefully there's not a huge delay. And then we are going to, which way do I like this? I'm going to hold it because I want the rope, the twine coming out of this, like the fish is kind of hanging. So it would be up, would be the better direction. And we're just gonna tap this down, pull it down a little. And then I'm gonna use 2 of my rusty washers. And if you need a rusty washer tutorial, I do have one over on my page. And I'm just gonna put a rusty washer on here. And so I rusted these out myself using a concoction, and there's just a quick little video on my page that you can check out if you want to see how to do rusty washers. They're just brand new washers that have been put in a chemical solution, or a non-chemical solution, I guess I should say. Household chemicals, how's that? And so now we've got a little rusty washer with our little weathered fish, weathered corrugated metal fish. And then we're going to take a piece of jute. This is, I guess, thicker twine. And I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to poke the folded end through. I poked my rusty washer off because it's not dry, but that's okay. And then I'm going to pull my ends through and tighten it down. I'm moving my rusty washers because they're not dry. So let me hold those in place while I tighten this. Okay. And then there we go. Just super cute. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Let me lift you up. Read some comments. If you guys like this project, I would appreciate it if you would share it out. You can share it just by sharing it on your personal page. If you think you've got some friends that would be interested in it, or a craft group or whatever, make sure that you've got the ability to post there. Don't be sharing me in a gaming group because they get angry with me and send me hate mail. But just real cute, this little corrugated metal tag. Tags are from Essential Stencil. I had the jute on hand, got some little washers from Lowe's, antiqued those up, it made them rusty, putting them in some products. And then here is our little corrugated metal. And you know, they might stand out better on just the stain without it being whitewashed. They stand out pretty well. It's just maybe kind of hard to tell. But what do you guys think of that? I think it's super cute. And so you can use this way to embellish all kinds of signs. And so say that you're working on a porch sign. You could do it on a porch sign. You could do it on some interior signs. You just have to have the imagination. You could spell out all the letters by tracing the big thick letters onto this metal pan and then cutting them out and creating signs. And so this is what we did. We had this metal pan that created this beautiful piece and this beautiful piece. And you can use it just as the bright metal, or you can antique it out a little bit with some patina by adding a little bit of orange or brown, or you would do the rooster with just a touch of the antiquing stain. And I may very well do that. He's still drying. So yeah, all you'd have to do is take that little antiquing gel, antiquing glaze, and just go over it. You could do the same thing that I did to this one. But that's 2 different ideas. Hey, Lisa from Illinois. What do you guys think? if you could rust up the tin before cutting the image out. You probably could. It's aluminum. I would have to think really hard. So I just, you know, faux it by adding some paint to it. But you could probably antique it out. And I would be really curious to see what it looks like on a porch sign that gets weathered. I might have to put something together and set it outside just to see what happens to it. I'm curious. So that's just another little helpful tip for the day. If you guys enjoyed it, share it out. I appreciate you so much, and I hope that you can find a way to incorporate this into your crafts because it's super cute and easy. You take your stencil stash, try to say that 3 times quick. Stencil stash, get yourself some Dollar Tree aluminum cookie plates, cookie baking tins, and trace it on, cut it out, and glue it down. Super cute. Okay, you guys be blessed. I'm gonna call Ms. Molly Dillon back and see what is up. She's just now getting out of school and she's frantically texting me about something. My guess is it's about chicken fingers. It's the great chicken tender debate. Oh yeah, the wings would be pretty that way too. They might just be a little difficult on the cutting, but you'll have to see. You guys, thank you so much for being here. You guys be blessed, take care, and make sure you catch Essential Stencil Live a little later. I think Sharon's, is today Wednesday? I've lost all track of days. I think today is Wednesday. If so, Sharon is live tonight. So you guys be blessed, take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye now.